Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Power Your Voice podcast. Today, we're talking about one of the most important skills any entrepreneur can develop. It's how to create offers with your ideal clients that they will immediately say yes to. Creating ideal offers is not as hard as it sounds. But let me start with a question. Have you ever created an offer that you were really excited about? You spent hours building it. You polished the messaging, you put it out into the world, and then guess what? Nothing happened. No buyers, maybe a few polite responses like, oh, that looks interesting. Let me think about it. But then you never hear from them again. Yeah, I hear you. If that has happened to you, guess what? You're not alone. This is totally normal. Most entrepreneurs assume that the problem is marketing. They think they need more visibility, more followers, more messaging, more advertising, a bigger email list. But most of the time, the problem is not the marketing. The problem is the offer itself. Because when an offer is structured correctly, your ideal client doesn't need convincing. They immediately recognize that it solves a problem that they care deeply about. They see the value, they see the outcome, and they can picture how their life or business improves once that problem is solved. So in my book, Power Your Pay, I teach a framework called the Power Your Pay sales process. It's a 5-step approach that helps entrepreneurs build offers that generate real revenue. I developed this for over a decade and adjusted it in the field. So it's not just a temporary system, it's a proven system. And it's one that's based in reality versus theory. So the 5 steps are plan, prioritize, present, propose, and produce. Yes, I may have gotten a little heavy with the P's, but when these 5 elements work together, your offer becomes so much easier to sell. So let's walk through each step really quickly. Step 1 is plan. Every powerful offer starts with a plan. But this is where many entrepreneurs go wrong. They start planning their offer around what they want to sell. Instead, they should be planning around the problems that their clients want solved. And that distinction makes more than a difference than you might think. The first step in building a strong offer is really understanding your ideal client. We call it ICP, but what you need to know is what's their current situation? What problem are they trying to solve right now, not tomorrow, today? And how is that problem affecting their business, their finances, their peace of mind? Really, what's keeping them up at night? And most importantly, what would their ideal outcome look like if that problem disappeared tomorrow? What would success look like for them? What would the relief feel like? And what would progress look like 6 months from now? This is what we call the discovery mindset. Before you can present a solution, you must fully understand the problem. Your offer should bridge the gap between where the client is today and where they want to go tomorrow. Because without this clarity, offers often feel generic. They feel broad. They feel like something that apply to anyone. And when you're talking to anyone, you're really talking to no one. But when you truly understand your client's problem, your offer becomes incredibly powerful because it becomes specific. And that is what creates the magic. So step 2 is prioritize. We talk about this a lot in our program because we focus on revenue producing activities. And one of the biggest mistakes that entrepreneurs make is spending too much time on tasks that do not generate revenue. It could be designing graphics, tweaking their website, researching new software, having coffees with people that they don't know and could never lead to other conversations. Networking without a strategy is simply a mistake. All of these things can feel productive, but revenue is actually created through a very small number of activities. Conversations with ideal clients, sharing your offer, delivering proposals, signing on new clients. These are activities that move your business forward. These are activities that help you to have a business and not just a very expensive hobby. So if you want to build offers that people say yes to, you need to prioritize time spent on talking with the people that you're here to serve, because the best offers are built through real conversations with real clients and not in isolation. Your clients will tell you exactly what you need if you bother to ask. They'll tell you what frustrates them. They'll tell you what keeps them stuck, and they'll tell you what outcome they wish they could achieve. And when you listen carefully, you can design offers that meet them exactly where they are. And I'm going to say that again because it's really important. Listening to understand versus listening to respond makes all the difference in the discovery process. So step 3 is present. Once you understand their problem and you've prioritized the right activities, the next step is presenting your solution. And this is where many entrepreneurs can make another mistake. They start talking about themselves, their credentials, their certifications, their background, their process, what makes them so special. But I hate to break it to you, your client is not really interested in you in that way. They want to know one thing. Can you understand my problem? Can you help me solve it? And do I feel confident that you are being honest with me? So when presenting your offer, it always starts with the client's problem. So many times I've seen that mistake. Starting with yourself will never lead to the path of success. Show your clients that you understand their situation, help them feel seen, understood, and then introduce your solution. Explain how your offer addresses the specific challenges that they're facing. Specific challenges, not general challenges that everybody faces. And then explain how your process works. Explain how their experience will change. Explain how their business will grow. And most importantly, explain the transformation. Clients don't buy services, they buy outcomes. They buy the possibility of a better future. They buy the ability to solve something that's been weighing on them or that they haven't been able to figure out themselves. And your job is to make that future crystal clear, which leads us to step 4. Step 4 is propose. Not like in a marital way, but this is where the structure of your offer becomes incredibly important. Many entrepreneurs think a proposal is simply a price, a quote, but a proposal is so much more than that. It is the full expression of your value. Your proposal should include the problem you're solving, obviously, the solution that you're providing, and the results your client can expect, and the investment required to make that transformation possible. When you're building your offer, your goal is to demonstrate value that significantly exceeds your price. If the transformation your client receives is 2, 5, 10, maybe even double the value of their investment, the decision becomes much easier because you are bringing a higher value. And one thing that's really important during this time is urgency. Without urgency, people delay decisions. They think about it, they revisit it later, they put it on a list for next month, and guess what? They never come back to it. They always think, I'll do this tomorrow. They will put it off because guess what? We are all people that are change resistant at our core. Not everyone wants to change. Not everyone wants to be flexible. Not everyone sees it as a fun thing to try something new. Most times people don't want to try something new. They're like, yeah, you know what? I'll just stick with this old way and then maybe one day it'll get better. Well, guess what? It's never going to get better. I hate to be the spoiler alert, but I will. But one of the simplest ways to create urgency when you're doing your proposal is to create a timeline around your offer. It is the easiest way to create urgency. It's the lightest way so you don't feel like you're putting them in the pressure cooker, but you let them know that it is time limited. And when people know the opportunity will not exist forever, they will make decisions faster, either yes or no. Urgency helps move the conversation forward. So the 3 things every offer must have. I'm going to pause here for a moment because there are 3 things every successful offer must have if you want your ideal client to say yes. So if you need to get a pencil, now's the time. The first is clear value. Your client must clearly understand the impact your solution will have on their life and their business. If someone tells you their offer is too expensive, most time it's not a pricing problem at all. It's a value communication problem. They don't yet see the full transformation your solution delivers. You have failed to communicate what their future life is going to be. Your job is to clearly connect the dots between the problem they're experiencing today and the outcome that they want to achieve tomorrow. And when that value is clear, the price begins to make sense. The price is irrelevant. In fact, one of the benchmarks I often teach is that your client should see multiple times the value compared to the investment. When someone sees that it's double, 5 times, 10 times the value, their decision becomes much easier. So the second element in alignment with a client's real problem. And that's why discovery is so important. earlier in the process. If you don't understand the true problem that your client is trying to solve, your offer will always feel slightly off. It may look good, it may sound polished, but it will not feel essential. It will feel like a nice to have rather than a need to have. And the strongest offers are built around a very specific problem that your ideal client deeply wants solved. And when someone feels understood, they naturally become open to the solution that you're presenting because guess what? Now they trust you. The third element is urgency. Without urgency, people say things like, let me think about it. I'll get back to you next month. I'm going to review this later with my spouse. And what often happens is that the opportunity that you thought you had simply disappears. One of the easiest ways to create urgency is by setting a clear timeline around your offer, because when clients understand that that opportunity is time sensitive, then they're much more likely to make a decision. Urgency helps move forward the conversation instead of letting it stall. Time kills all deals. And when your offer contains these three elements, clear value, alignment with a meaningful problem, and an urgency to act, your ideal clients will recognize this opportunity much more quickly. And then saying yes just becomes a natural next step. So the next step in the process is to produce. The final step in this process is what it's all about. It's about making sales so that you actually have a legitimate business and not an expensive hobby. And this is where your offer begins generating real revenue. And here's something important to remember. Your goal is not to get every single person to say yes. I know that's hard for you to believe and it sounds counterintuitive, but your goal is actually to attract the right clients, the clients who truly benefit from your work, the clients who are ready for real change. They want to create change today. They don't want to put it off till tomorrow. And when your offer is aligned with the right audience, sales become much more easier because your offer genuinely solves a meaningful problem. And when that happens, your business begins producing consistent revenue. So let's just bring it all together real quick and review. Plan by understanding your client's real problem. That is so important. And then prioritize revenue producing activities. These are things that are going to bring money into your door. Present a clear solution that delivers transformation. You're meeting your client where they are and helping them go to where they want to be. And propose an offer that demonstrates real value. Don't just add things in there because it's perceived value. Make sure it's truly meaningful to them. And produce revenue by working right with the clients. And when all of these elements are working together, selling is a breeze. You're no longer convincing people, you're helping them see a path to a better outcome. So if you take one thing away from today's conversation, let it be this. The goal is not to convince people. The goal is to create offers that are so aligned with their needs that saying yes feels natural. And when you understand the problem and when you communicate that transformation, you will confidently present the value of your solution. The right clients will recognize that. And if you'd like to learn more about the Power Your Pay methodology and how we help women build profitable businesses, I invite with you to connect with us at soullesscoaches.com. It will also be in the show notes. And thank you so much for tuning in today to the Power Your Voice podcast. If you found this episode helpful, please subscribe and share it with someone who may benefit from hearing it. We truly appreciate you being here and being a part of this community. Thank you.